Hello all. Alright, well, with all the things that are going on in the world, the shootings and the mass murders and the wars and there's another problem we have here in the US, and that's voting machines. We're going to talk about it this time. Let's talk about what kind of equipment they have here in the US, for example, and why this equipment is outdated, old, and causing a lot of problems here in the US. Let's go over to the board. Okay, here's some of the machines that are used here in the U.S. These are the majority of the machines. There's some secondary machines that are used. Optical scan is probably the most common. That one's used a good portion down Texas, South, the East Coast. Punch cards are what California uses. That's what we have here. Optical scan is mostly paper ballots, but it still requires a scan to put it into a computer, which then sends the numbers to somebody else who tabulates it. Punch cards, another type of ballot that's a long card like this and has a whole bunch of holes in it, right? And you punch the hole that you want for the vote. And those cards have a lot of problem because the punch card, the punch sticks into there and doesn't look like it voted for anything. So that's a problem with punch cards. Direct recording electronically, those are those horrible touch screens. The votes can be easily manipulated on these type machines and have multiple people looking and going from one machine to another before it gets tabulated. Bad machine right here. Bad machine here and bad machine here. There's the ballot marking device, which is for the disabled voters. These also can be flipped easily. It's kind of hard to understand why we have such antiquated old equipment here in the States.
Hola a todos. Today, I'd like to talk about the easily hackable electronic voting machines used throughout the U.S. They're made by Diebold, ES&S, Sequoia, and other companies. Many people dismiss these machines as being a problem in elections. During the illegitimate Bush regime years, many Democrats were vigilant on this topic. After their messiah Obama got 2 terms, it seems they think that that our elections are now fair and legitimate. It's all been forgotten about. If they paid close attention to Obama's record over the last 7.5 years, they would continue to question these machines because Obama has greatly expanded the illegitimate Bush regime's agenda. He's been the best Republicano presidente los Republicanos could have possibly asked for, despite DNR theatrics to the contrary. Many people just adore him. They're usually shallow, superficial, one-issue people who don't have a clue what he's done overall. You can find more information on this topic by putting the keywords easily hackable electronic voting machines in your search engine. I use non-tracking DuckDuckGo. Or you may be of the opinion that this e-voting machine topic is bullshit. If that's the case, por favor, watch the brief video in the video description below. It shows a voter trying to vote for Bernie Sanders, but the machine gives that vote to another candidate. Muchísimas gracias. Ciao.
One of the reasons they're saying that this system is used this way is so it's very difficult to cheat on ballot and have a sweep from state to state to state, which is true. Each state has its own counting system, its own computers, so on and so forth. So it does help with large-scale fraud. However, small-scale fraud still changes elections, as we saw in 2000 and 2004 on Bush Cheney. We saw the stealing of the election in Florida. You only have to steal so many votes, such as in the Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton case. Also funny business going on there, as we've talked about in the past. But really, what's wrong with just using a paper ballot? Where a piece of paper, you vote by a piece of paper, it's looked at by 2 people from each party, and it's also seen by a camera on the internet, and you can follow along the vote on the internet and get an accurate count that way. You have several people making sure that the vote count is correct. versus this electronic garbage. Bad machines, bad system. Needs a real big update. The reason they're not being updated? There's no money. Each state says there's no money to update and upgrade all this equipment, when really paper ballots don't hardly cost anything. Just a few people volunteering to count and you've got it. Takes a little bit longer, but I think speed isn't important when counting ballots, really. Who cares if you find out who won the next couple days or one day, or what matter? What difference does it matter? Speed is not important when it goes to voting. So I thought we'd get that all caught up on the voting machines here in the U.S. I don't know what the voting is like in other countries, but I don't think it's as corrupt as here in the U.S. So I appreciate all the comments on the last video, and the ups and the downs, and the new subscribers. And until next time.
Now, what else did I fuck up?
No, that was it.